you have to still be pleased considering what you thought they were going to be.
Right.
And my thing is, while I'm not freaking out totally about this collapse, it's not good. And the thing that bothers me about it is if you are going to be the team that we're bigger than the sum of our parts and our culture is what carries us through these tough moments, to suddenly just be getting beaten down in these tough moments, does it make you rethink the culture?
I think the question has to be asked because, yeah, if you're going, it's what we said about John Tortorella, about the idea that, like, if you're going to give him credit for 65 games or how great of a job he's done, he deserves some blame for the 7-game losing streak that likely will knock them out of a playoff, the playoff race. It's the same thing with the culture. If you're going to say that the culture was so important to get them to this point, then you can't then hand wave it away when they lose 7 straight games in the middle of a playoff race. Like, if the culture was that strong, would this happen? Maybe, but like, it's certainly worth bringing up. And the comparison I made in my article was to the Eagles and the Eagles collapse, because
that was a great comparison.
Because this is the thing, like, we spent years championing the strength of the Eagles culture. Yep. They went out and they took a big swing on Jalen Carter, in large part because they're like, our culture is so strong that we can integrate this guy, even though there are character concerns. Nevertheless, when the chips were down, when shit got tough, they folded.
Yep.
All that culture didn't matter. They still completely fell apart at the end of the season and then got their doors blown off.
No show to playoff game.
By a team that have
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, the team that has less talent than them blew them out in a playoff game. And it makes you think, like, was that culture really as strong as we all thought? I think this has to at least has to have you ask the question of, and to me, the big part of this is what Briere takes away from it. Because had they, played out this season, made the playoffs, had a really good showing in the first round, it would have been significantly easier, I feel like, for Danny Briere to be like, I can't mess with this team. They got something special going. They just play so hard for each other. Yeah. Our culture is so strong. After this, like, I really like Scott Lawton, but, like, if you're keeping him for the culture, like,
and the team fell apart,
like, maybe that culture, it's not that it doesn't exist. It might still be strong, but it's maybe not something you have to prioritize at all costs.
It's not going to win you the championship. What's going to win you the championship is the great players.
Right.
Like, it's important, but it's not the most important.
Yes.
Like, the most important is still having the great players.
Yes. Whereas if you held this for 82 games and really were
win a first round or something,
doing it on the culture, then it's easier for you to be like, well, maybe this is really important. This does serve as a little bit of a reminder that culture only goes so far.
You still have to just, like, go out and do it.
Yeah.
Like, the culture isn't this magic. It's not Mike's magic stuff or whatever it was. The secret stuff in Space Jam. Yeah. Like, it's not that.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, well, we're mentally tougher than everyone, so we're going to, man, you got your doors blown off by Columbus and Columbus's B team.
Yeah.
Like, no, the culture isn't just propelling you to these great heights. And we'll close on.
And maybe it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. Maybe it really is.
Maybe this will allow them to disabuse themselves of the delusion that the culture will solve everything.
We have to have Scott Lawton. Like, we need guys. Like, we need not just one Nick Sealer. We need 3 Nick Sealers. Like, now you need one. All right, I'll give you the one.
I'll give you the one.
We don't need 50% of our defense. But
we all silly like the mayor.